Alright, please add 8.8 factoring day 3 to your table of contents. Alright, so what we're going to do today is continue factoring, but we'll be looking at word problems. So we have a designer who is making a rectangular brick patio. She has enough bricks to cover 44 square feet. She wants the length to be 7 feet greater than the width. What dimensions should she use for the patio? So we're looking for the final dimensions. Alright, so to find the area of a rectangle, it's base times height. So our base is W plus 7, and our height is W. So we're going to multiply these together, and we're going to get W squared plus 7W. So in the problem it tells you that the area is 44 square feet, and so the problem becomes W squared plus 7W equals 44 square feet. So this would be a great problem to complete the square on, except this middle term here is odd, so I wouldn't want to take half of that. So we're going to make the problem equal 0. So we're going to minus 44 from both sides. And so we get W squared plus 7W minus 44 equals 0. And now we go to our X box method. So draw your X. What number goes on top? So that'd be 1 times negative 44 is negative 44. And then the number that goes on the bottom is that middle term, that's 7. So now we want to find the numbers that multiply to negative 44 but add to 7. So it's 1 times 44, 2 times 22, 3 doesn't go in, but 4 does. 4 times 11, 5 no, 6 no, 7, 8, nope, 9, 10, nope. And so the next number is 11, and I already have that there, so there's 3 sets of factors that multiply to negative 44. So since it's negative, that means one of them has to be negative. And since my answer down here, when I add them together, is positive, that means the bigger number has to be positive. So that tells me that one of these on the left have to be negative. And so between these two numbers, when I add these together, I get 7. So that tells me I have negative 4 and 11. So now we can go to our X box, or our 2x2 box. And so what number goes in the first? That'd be W squared. What number goes in the last box? The last number, negative 44. And then we put our answer from our X, so negative 4W plus 11W. Now we work on the rows first. What does the top row have in common? So we can take out a W. What does the bottom row have in common? So see, can that small number go into the big number? It can, so that'd be plus 11. Now we work on the column. So we look here and see what do these two have in common. And so they share a W. Here, see how they're both negative. We want to take out a negative. And since this is the 4 can go into 44, we're going to take out a 4. And so this becomes W minus 4, W plus 11 equals 0. Now we break it up into two problems. W minus 4 equals 0. W plus 11 equals 0. And now we just solve it. Add 4. So W equals 4. Over here, minus 11. So I get W equals 4 and W equals negative 11. What the problem says, what are the dimensions? So now I got to take 4 and plug it in here. I'm going to take 4 and plug it in here. So 4 plus 7 is 11. So one set of dimensions would be 4 by 11. So now if I take the negative 11 and plug it in, so let's use green for that. So let's see if I take this negative 11 and plug it in here, is it possible to have a rectangle that has a negative 11 width? The answer is no. I want our dimensions to be positive. So that means that my only answer came from the width of 4. So my dimensions are 4 by 11. Alright, for number 2, it tells us we have the perimeter. So that means we have to add up all 3 sides of the triangle. So start with your x squared. X squared minus x squared is 0, and then plus the 2x squared gives us 2x squared. And now our middle term, negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2, and then positive 2 minus 5 is negative 3. We get negative 3x. And then it tells us that the perimeter equals 20. So the perimeter equals 20. And so I would want to complete the square on this one, so I'm just going to make it equal 0. So I'm going to minus 20 from both sides. And that gives me a 2x squared minus 3x minus 20 equals 0. And now this is where you would do the x box. So we start with the x. One number goes on top. So 2 times negative 20 is negative 40. One number goes on the bottom. That'd be negative 3. So now we want to find the numbers that multiply to negative 40 but add the negative 3. So we have 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 3 no, 4 yes, 4 times 10, 5 times 8, 6 no, 7 no, 8 yes, but I already have it, so these are my 4 sets of factors. So since it has to add to a negative, that means my bigger number needs to be negative, so that means all of these on the right side are negative this time. And so now we look at the set of numbers and what would make negative 3. So that'd be 5 and negative 8. So now we go to the 2 by 2 box. Okay, so put the first number in the first box, the last number in the last box, and then the answers from our x into the remaining boxes. Looking left to right, what do 2x squared and 5x have in common? Well, the 2 can't go into the 5, so the only thing that they share is an x. Now here, so when they're both negative, you want to take out a negative. 8 can't go in the 20, so now what's the biggest number that goes into 8 and 20? Be 4. Now we want to look at the columns. So the biggest number, 2, or the small number can go into both of them, so we're going to take out a 2, and they both have an x, so we can factor out an x. Same thing, the small number can go into both of them, so we take out a 5. And so now we have a 2x plus 5 times x minus 4 equals 0. Now we split it up. We solve it. So when you solve it, you get x equals 5 halves and positive 4. You'd be able to plug both those numbers in and end up with a positive answer. So this one has 2 answers.